Hey everyone, it's Hiko again. In this video, I just want to talk a little bit about just kind of general things about Valorant, general quality of life things. Talk about the buy menu, talk about ultimate economy, the economy, how the economy actually works to my knowledge, how I felt playing the game. And yeah, so I guess just jumping right in. If you press B, you get to the buy menu. When you're in a game, you'll see all of your teammates here, and it'll tell you exactly what they have, how much money they have. You can buy them. Like you can click, I have extra credits, and it'll say, I can buy for you, basically. You can say, let's buy, let's save. I guess you can't go let's buy and let's save with the same round, but that's fine. And then here's all the guns you have. You have 5 pistols, 2 SMGs, 2 shotguns, 4 different rifles, 2 snipers, and then 2 heavies, and then obviously your armor and your abilities. So, you know, I guess we can go over all the guns first. Everyone starts with the classic, which is just kind of like a P2K from CS, maybe a P250. It looks probably more like a P250. Kind of sounds weird. That's the default pistol. Most people just keep that on pistol round. Some people buy up. There's also something called a shorty, which is kind of like, this is kind of cool. It's like a shotgun pistol. You get 2 bullets with it, but it'll one-shot someone if you're close enough. But if you're like even medium range, like even like semi-medium range, like close / medium, it won't kill them. They'll do like no damage. So you literally kind of like have to be right on them. But you can kill them in one shot. It is possible. It's also worth mentioning with the classic, if you right click, it's like a burst fire. So it's kind of like a Glock in that sense, where if you left click, it's just a single click. But if you right click, it's a burst fire. It's a 3-round burst. And then moving on to the frenzy, which to me is the CZ equivalent. I mean, that's pretty much everything. It's just a CZ. Even has 13 bullets. CZ. Then you have the Ghost, which is the silenced USP. I personally I was buying this gun a lot. It felt really good. It just reminds me a lot of the silenced USP. It's pretty accurate while moving. Does a lot of damage. You have 15 bullets. It's semi-silenced. I don't think any of the guns are actually completely silent in the game. At least not to my knowledge. It didn't seem like anything was silent, but this is a lot less of a sound than most of the other guns. Even just in your first person, you can tell it's a lot quieter. Pretty good gun. And then the Sheriff, which to me is like the Deagle. I have a skin for it. You can see it even kicks like the Deagle. It kind of like kicks up. It's good. One shot headshot. Excuse me. One shot headshot. A lot of times I found myself raging on an anti-eco, like when I had a rifle and the other team had a pistol, and you know, even from like this distance, somebody would just like swing and one-shot me. It's like, well, there goes all my money, just instantly dead. I feel like this gun is way better than the Deagle in CS, because this Deagle actually is super accurate. Like the first bullet is so accurate. It's actually really insane. So yeah, pretty good. The SMGs, didn't really like them. The other team had armor. They felt really bad. Like it felt like they didn't do much damage. Like you kind of, it's also not like 1. Or I keep saying 1.6, but it's not like CS:GO to the sense that if you run around with them, it's pretty bad if you run with them. Like you really do want to like stand still with them and shoot. So that's the Stinger, we call it. Almost every rifle or SMG, if you can right click and kind of get like the ADS, the aim down sight. Some guns have different rate of fires though when you do that. So like the Stinger, when you scope and you click, it changes from if you just hip fire, you can spray forever. However, if you ADS and you try to spray, it's only a 3-bullet burst. So it actually helps shooting at a distance. Instead of trying to just spray like this, you see how much higher it goes. You go like this, and at least you have a chance of killing someone. Moving on to the, what's it called? The Spectre. It's kind of like the silenced version. except for this one, when you scope, you can full auto it. Seems like the recoil on this one was way better than the Stinger as well, but it also costs $600 more. The Spectre costs $1,600, whereas the Stinger only costs $1,000. So, yeah, I think the Spectre is pretty good. Then moving on to the shotguns, you have the Bucky, which is just typical pump shotgun from Counter-Strike. Right click or left click, it does the same thing. Then you have the Judge, which is the auto shotgun. Actually, it's really insane. It's really good. Especially from someone who actually likes the auto shotgun in Counter-Strike. This gun is insane. If you buy it on like an anti-eco, you pretty much one-shot everybody. It's really good. But yeah, it's just an auto shotgun. Then moving on, you have the Bulldog, which is kind of like, I'd classify as like a FAMAS from Counter-Strike. It shoots really slow if you spray it. And then as well, if you ADS, it's a burst fire. So it's good. You can really, you kill people pretty fast in this game. So if you headshot them with this gun, they're going to die no matter what. Even if you don't buy one of that more expensive rifles. But yeah, the big thing about shooting in this game too is that you're not at a disadvantage. Like if you think about Counter-Strike, if you have a Krieg, you pretty much want to be running around scoping and killing people as much as you can, right? And like sure, the ADSing is really good for long distances, but you can also, if you don't ADS, you're not at a disadvantage to somebody who is ADSing. Like you have the same, it doesn't really necessarily make the gun any better. And sometimes it actually makes the gun worse, right? Because you can't spray it. I saw a lot of people that would just like always, a lot of the CS players would like always ADS from long distances, and they tried spraying and they would just miss. But I feel like it's actually pretty good to hip fire from far distances too. So that's just like a side note, because I'm sure some people are like, oh, well, why don't you just ADS all the time? So moving on to the Guardian. This is like a, what's that gun? I think it's called an MDR or something. But it's a semi-automatic gun. So you can click kind of fast with it. The recoil goes up pretty fast, but if you shoot kind of slow, you can. When I first started playing, this was my favorite gun because you can just swing really fast, one-shot someone, and just get out. The problem is if you miss, the recoil goes up pretty fast, so you have to like one tap pretty much. But if you have really good aim and you can one tap, like I feel like Scream would be insane with this gun. Like really insane with this gun. But yeah, that's the Guardian. I thought this gun was the best for a while, and then I tried to play against like actual good people, and they were just spraying at me and killing me too fast. I couldn't connect fast enough. So yeah, it's good. I like it, but the two rifles that most people are buying are the Phantom and the Vandal. So the Phantom to me is kind of like the M4 equivalent to Counter-Strike. Shoots pretty fast. It's not as loud as the Vandal. You'll be able to tell that it shoots faster than the Vandal, which is the AK. If you scope, it also just sprays. So recoil is pretty easy to control. It's pretty good. You can, if you check the stats here, you can tell, like over here on the side. I guess I can't show, but over on the right side, under where it says Phantom over on the right, you can see it's 11 rounds a second, and it actually will even tell you how much damage it does with each shot. So, you know, in the head it does 156 if they're close, but if they're far, it takes 2 headshots. Whereas the Vandal, which is just like the AK, like if you compare the two stats, I mean, I guess if I'm moving too fast, you can just pause the video and you can like screenshot, or like you can actually see the stats over there on the right. So the Phantom's damage actually falls off the further away they are, whereas the Vandal is the same damage no matter what. No matter where you are, a headshot's going to kill you one shot. Doesn't matter how far away you are. So the Vandal, you can tell it shoots a little bit slower. The recoil goes up a little bit faster. You know, it's still, if you scope, it shoots. You can still spray if you scope. Spray if you don't scope. And yeah, I found myself using the Phantom more, even though it took 2 headshots. I just feel like having the faster shooting bullets, I kind of just liked better. But the Vandal is still really good too. I just, you know, if I had more time to practice with it, I feel like the Vandal would be better. But we only got a few days to play, so we didn't get that much time to test everything. We're on to the Marshal, which is the scout equivalent if you're a Counter-Strike player. You move pretty fast with it. You can see the damage. If you headshot someone, it's 202, so it's going to one-shot somebody if you headshot them. It takes 2 body shots, right? If they have armor, you know, everyone starts with 100 health, and if you buy armor, you can get up to 150. Again, just a scout. You move fast. Even kind of sounds like the scout a little bit. You have that kind of like that sound. I don't know how to explain it, but I'm sure if you've ever heard the scout in Counter-Strike, it's kind of similar. All right, and finally for the last sniper, we have the operator, and the operator is basically the op equivalent in Counter-Strike. You know, you move slow with it. You move slower than the scout. Has a very loud noise. When you actually watch some of the gameplay that I'll post, you can tell when someone shoots the operator, it's loud and it vibrates everything. I mean, you can tell. Body shot 100% of the time will one-shot someone. Headshot obviously is going to always kill them. And a leg shot will actually kill you straight up if you don't have full armor. So if you only have light armor, it will actually one-shot you still, even if they leg you. Just moving on to the heavies, which is like the Para and the Negev, if you're a Counter-Strike player. The Ares, it's actually kind of insane. I'm not going to lie. For it, you know, it's $1,700 and it's really powerful. The problem is it's kind of like one of those chain guns or whatever they're called in the other games where it takes a little bit to get going. Like you can tell it starts shooting slow and then speeds up the more you spray, right? Like watch. It's really hard to control the recoil too, but like it starts shooting slow and then it speeds up. So it's good. I mean, not many people bought it. People were saying this gun, the Odin, is overpowered. It shoots really fast right away. It's very expensive. It's the most expensive rifle outside of the op. It's $3,200. Still takes two bullets to headshot, but because it shoots so, you can see it. It says 15.6 rounds a second. So it actually also speeds up. The recoil is actually not as bad if you scope in with it. Like if you, it's like Counter-Strike where if you crouch and you spray with it, the recoil actually is pretty easy to control. So this gun's pretty insane. I'm gonna assume they'll nerf it, but maybe they won't because it's so expensive. Like it's $3,200. So yeah, I didn't really play around with these. I bought them a couple times. I bought the Ares more than I bought the Odin. The Ares is pretty good, but yeah. I mean, it's basically just like a Negev. You have so many bullets, you just spray, you can wall bang, you just own people. And then finally, I guess you have the armor. The only really thing worth mentioning about armor is that there's no such thing as head armor in the game, right? There's nothing that's going to protect you from a headshot. The only thing armor does, you know, like if you have a Vandal and you get headshotted, whether you have head armor or not, doesn't matter. With every gun in the game, it doesn't matter if you bought, there's no such thing as a helmet. So the way armor works in this game is that it just gives you more health. It's just a flat health increase. So I guess it technically reduces 50% of damage taken, but it's basically gives you another 50 health. That being said, the Vandal will do 156 damage no matter where you are, no matter how far or how close you are. So the Vandal, even if you have big armor, it's going to one-shot you. So yeah, there's not such a thing as head armor. I mean, I guess for sake of Counter-Strike, we call this body armor and then the big armor like full armor. But for the most part, you always want to buy full armor, always. And the economy in this game works. Like even if you're getting crushed, you probably realistically only have to save once, maybe twice a game. So there's not very many save rounds. So that's pretty much the whole buy menu. The cool thing about the buy menu, again, just reiterating, when you're in a game on a team, all your teammates are here lined up. You can see exactly how much money they have, what gun they have, if they want a gun. And if you do want somebody to buy you a gun, all you have to do is just mouse over it. And you can see if you left click, it buys it. And then it says right click is want. So if I right click it, I need this. It'll say Hiko wants the Guardian. And so on their tab screen, it'll have my name here and it'll be like Hiko requested the Guardian. And then they just click a button and I instantly get it. So it's pretty easy. It's also worth saying that when you press tab, when you're in an actual game, like when you're in a comp game, like a 5v5, you can see the entire enemy's team, their money, how close they are to their ultimate, and you can't see their weapon, but you can. Those are the two big things. So you never really have to keep track of your teammates or the enemy's economy, because it literally tells you that at the start of every round, which I personally don't really like. I guess it just kind of like, it's just one less thing to have to keep track of because it keeps track of it for you. I just don't like that it gives you specifics, right? Because I guess just coming from Counter-Strike, being able to like predict economy and then people like throwing in random buys when you think they have no money, or saves when they have a lot of money, like it kind of messes with people's minds. I'll be surprised if they keep that in, but maybe they will. And then also you can always see when your teammates or the enemy teammates has ultimates ready, or how close they're to getting ultimates. So I'm not opposed to that one. I feel like it's kind of, there was at least one time where we were playing against, which guy was it? We were playing against a Brimstone, and he was in a 1v2, and like we were playing against him, and somebody pressed tab and was like, oh, by the way, he has ultimate. Don't even bother defusing, he's gonna ult. So one of my teammates tapped the bomb. The guy instantly ulted. We lost the round, but we got his ult out. Like, right? Like he wasted his ult for it, so, or he used his ult to win the round, so. Like things like that, like you'll know when your teammates and your enemies have their ultimates even powered. So I don't think it's that. I honestly don't think abilities are that game changing. Like sure, there are some pretty good ones, and there's some situations where some ultimates are going to be really powerful, but the game isn't really like playing the game, especially it doesn't feel like the game is revolving around ultimates and abilities as much as it is just getting kills. And the gameplay feels so crisp and so good, like Counter-Strike does. It feels so rewarding taking an aim fight in this game and actually getting a headshot and getting kills, that it reminds me a lot of Counter-Strike. So I think people will like it a lot. I think some people were, the knee-jerk reaction to a lot of the abilities and a lot of the different mechanics that were released was like, oh no, it's going to be so bad. Like, LOL, Counter-Strike killer, by the way, like things like that. I don't necessarily agree with. But I do think the game was really fun. I had a lot of fun playing it. And again, it's worth mentioning, just a reiteration that the game is alpha right now. I'm only commenting on what they gave us the ability to play, what I actually had the option of playing. I had a lot of fun. I really liked it. I think this game has a pretty bright future. I think the devs in this game are so involved and so active that I think it'll be very successful. I can only hope and wish and pray that for Counter-Strike's sake, Valve, there's definitely a lesson to be learned. For a long time, I was, if you guys don't know who I am, I've been to, from 2012 to 2017, I went to every single major there was in Counter-Strike. And at the beginning of Counter-Strike, there were a few Valve employees that would come and talk to us, but sometimes it felt like that we were talking to a brick wall. Sometimes it felt like they were listening, but they didn't really care what we had to say. They didn't really care about the changes we wanted as pros. They didn't care the feedback we gave them, because ultimately they kind of catered to the casuals, to the matchmakers. And I feel like in this game, the devs are actually listening. The devs are there helping to explain. No troll, no joke. I've literally talked to more Riot employees, people that physically worked on this game, helped make it in the last 2 days, than I think even work on CSGO in total at Valve. So I think just that alone, this game will be not necessarily loved, but Riot will treat it very well. And it seems like Riot's very committed to making sure that this game has a future and putting money into it and caring what people think. So I think that's a positive. And whether it's a Counter-Strike killer or not, I think this game is definitely on the right track. And I think this game definitely will do well. So if there's anything else you really want me to go over or you have questions about, just post them in the comments. And if not, then there will definitely also be, whether either before or after this video gets released, there'll be some kind of a gameplay. I'm planning on recording like 5-6 hours of actual in-game gameplay footage, so there should be at least a couple videos worth of actual full matches on the different maps. I'm a little upset that I couldn't actually run around the 2 maps we had the ability to play. I guess I can just tell you, one of them's called Bind and one of them's called Haven. Riot told us that every map is going to have some kind of a different mechanic to it. For instance, one of the maps there was 2 maps you had to play, like I said. One of the maps had 3 different bomb sites, A, B, and C, which I think was actually super cool. And then the other map had teleporters, one-way teleporters, where you can teleport from it was still 2 bomb sites. It was A and B, but there were one-way teleporters where you could take from A to B and from B to A. And I think it added, it was really different and really interesting, really cool actually. So yeah, all I have to say is I hope you liked it. If you have any questions, please let me know. I'll be streaming this probably when it gets released, and check out my my gameplay videos of the actual alpha. And I guess just one more time, again, it is an alpha, things can change, but I really enjoyed the game. I think it's going to have a good future, and yeah, thanks for watching.